Curious how few are actually willing to question their beliefs. But I think we finally have. Yep, the YouTube is working, at least temporarily. We'll see if it stays up. Hopefully it does. And hopefully somebody with a belief in something questionable can question it and finds their way up. But I do owe Morgan Le Fay another playthrough of the song that I played earlier in the live. I was having a lot of technical difficulties, and I think I've finally smoothed them over in just the last song. So let's see if we've got that working well enough. While we listen to this, make sure you keep tapping the screen, share the live, and I'm sure someone with a belief will find their way up to question them. Maybe. Otherwise, I might have a few questions for Norway. Question your belief. Do you have a belief in a God? A higher power? Or anything like that?
There's a house where the wood smoke bends to your name, where the frost on the fence line don't bite the same. You walk barefoot through the bramble and the blame, with a lantern cup low like a holy flame. You got ink in your veins and mud on your hands. You've been tracing old gods through conquered lands. You don't kneel to a throne built out of sand. You just whisper, look closer, understand. Oh, you don't shout heaven down. You just make the dark lean in. Every myth you lay to the ground lets the true one begin. Morgan, my lantern in the timberline. You're the church in the clearing where the roots entwine. You don't promise me paradise, just a fire that survives the night. And I walk through the pride, through the fault and the fight, for the light in your hands burning steady and kind. Oh, Morgan, you're the wild made gentle and the gentle made divine. There's a storm in your chest, you don't let win. Just a low, steady hymn under thickened skin. You've been cut by the frost and the discipline. Still you open the gate, let the children in. You wear grief like a river-worn stone. Heavy ass, but it's yours alone. And the world keeps asking you atone for a fire that was never overthrown. Oh, you bend, but you don't break down. You forgive, but you don't forget. Every line you redraw is a promise you won't regret. Yeah. Morgan, my lantern in the timberline. You're the oath in the marrow and the ancient sign. You don't beg for a savior's hand. You just build what you understand. And I'd stand in the ruin of a borrowed design. Every man watching your fierce heart shine. Oh, Morgan, you're the wild made only by your own spine. You know, if they tell you to quiet your tongue, say the old ways are dead and done. Let them choke on the dust they've spun. You know every God had a mother once, and the love you got like a loaded gun ain't violence, it's what you become. A field mended stone by stone, a woman who carved the road. Morgan, my lantern in the timberline. You're the bruise and a blessing intertwined. You don't ask to be sanctified. You just stand where the truths collide. And I'd follow the glow through the longest night, where your fire makes the fractured right. Oh, Morgan, you're the prayer that never asked permission. You're the dark teaching daylight how to shine. Knock my door at dawn, friend. Selling paradise like it's on sale. Got a pamphlet in each pocket. Got a script you learned by mail. Tell me this, oh holy salesman, if your truth is carved in stone, why you need my trembling signature to validate your own? Riddle me your savior. So, if love is free, why the quota on soul? If your heaven's so sure, why the hard little cell? If you're walking with the light, why you yelling about it? You say I'm born already broken. Need your club to make me whole. Funny how how to fix your pushing. Comes with ties and dress codes. Question for you, traveling preacher. If doubt is such a sin, why'd your founder speak in puzzles and draw questions in the sand? Riddle me your savior. So, if love is free, why the quota on soul? If you're heaven so sure, why the hard little cell? If you're walking with the light, why you yelling about it? Yeah. If your God can move a mountain, can they handle my no thanks? Or do they need your raised voice and my name inside your ranks? If faith is such a fountain, why you guard it like a gate? If your cup is overflowing, why you scared I won't taste? Tell me, riddle me your savior. Show. If love is free, why the quota on soul? If your heaven so sure, why the hard little cell? If you're walking with the light, why you yelling about? Hey, so keep your script, kind pilgrim. I'll keep questions, you keep trace. If your God can't stand one skeptic, maybe they should call you back. Maybe they should call you back. Question your beliefs. To question a belief is to knock on the door of the house you built in your sleep. Some walls are made of inheritance, some of fear dressed as certainty, some of stories repeated until they forgot they were stories. But curiosity is a quiet crowbar. It does not destroy the house, it opens a window. And suddenly, fresh weather enters the mind. Dust dances in golden light, and you remember you are not the house, you are the sky. It was built beneath.
A belief question does not mean a belief betrayed. Only that your spirit has chosen growth over furniture. Ask gently, wonder wildly. Let mystery keep a chair at the table. For the bravest souls are not those who cling to answers, but those willing to fall in love with better questions.
You would think so, Ketchup. 100 people and not a single believer? Not one of you can question the belief that you hold in a god or gods, higher powers, or anything like that. Not one of you. Fascinating. We are at 36,000 taps, and while I would like to say that's really good, I wasn't that late tonight. Not more than an hour. We should definitely be well over 40K. You guys can tap. I think really, even if I had a request, well, if it wasn't Zaz, if it was anybody else, I'd say we wouldn't take the guest until we were over 40K. Because it's Zaz, we'll take you. How you doing, Zaz?
Thank you. My cat may have requested, if you got a request from me, if you didn't just bring me up. She's tapping my screen a lot. She's driving me nuts. Thank you for bringing me.
We're glad that she's tapping.
I don't know if you can hear it in the background. She's probably going to talk right over everybody. I can't control it.
Can hear it. She's very, very vocal.
Yes, she is. I think we should ask her why.
I wonder if she can even question her meows.
I know. That's a question I've had. I ask weird questions of myself, probably because I had no implanted knowledge from anywhere else, per se. I wasn't raised with any like solid beliefs, so I just asked lots of questions. But I always wondered, what if animals could have the option to change the world around them, and they know it, and they just decided not to? And we've been underestimating them the whole time. And they're looking at us going, you fools, you're destroying everything. Leave that alone. What's wrong with the natural world? You know, it's possible. Unlikely, but we don't know.
But entirely possible.
Right. There's probably a... You know what occurs to me? That question never came up in my mind. I wonder if science fiction is the essence of what my spiritual and religious beliefs actually are, because they're a blend of science and what ifs.
Does it feel spiritual to you?
Kind of in a way, because I think wonder to me is as close as I get to spiritual. Well, I wonder what, what's on the other side of that mountain, or what's, what those stars are like if you got close to them. What kind of planets are out there? Are there other beings out there? My alien is ironic, though. I don't think we have alien visitors, but I think it's possible there's life out there. And what would it be like? I don't know. I find that it keeps me yearning.
I can absolutely appreciate the yearning. We have a guest. Hello, Seeker. Can I get your age for TikTok TOS? Was it a 40? Is that what you said?
Yeah, 40.
Okay. Do you have a belief in a god or gods, higher power, or anything like that?
I have a belief, yes. I don't follow a sect per se.
When you say sect, is there any particular practice or doctrine that you do follow?
Come on. Come on. Come on. Yeah, come on. Yeah, come here.
Well, we're not hearing your response there, Seeker. If you meant to be here, you're going to want to come back to the app so you can answer the question.
Yeah, if you're swiped out of the app, we can't hear you.
Mm-hmm. Welcome back.
Sorry about that, man. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, I don't. I have my my belief. I follow the teachings of Jesus, but I'm not in a sect or any of that sort.
You follow the teachings of Jesus.
Yeah.
Do you believe Jesus is your Lord and Savior?
Is the Lord my Savior, and
What
God
does that
is the
mean?
one that resurrected.
What does it mean for Jesus to be your Lord and Savior?
He's this he basically showed me and saved me to basically question and know who and discover more about who I am. And sorry, I'm just getting mad messages.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're saying Jesus helped you discover who you are, but how is it you've learned of Jesus?
You go through by I guess gain a deeper understanding of what the message is trying to convey, what the truth is trying to convey. So he's trying to show
You say what the message, what the truth. What is it you're talking about? Are you talking about the Bible?
yeah, I mean, not just what's in the Bible, just the truth of who we are and
Truth of who we are. What does that have to
yeah.
do with Jesus?
It's what Jesus is showing us.
Where is Jesus showing us that?
So, for example, with the light of the world, we can move with little faith. We could do many things.
Light
And
of the
what
world,
religion?
little faith. What are you referring to?
I'm talking about self-knowing.
Self-knowing what?
Yeah,
What is that?
knowing yourself, and then finding
What does that have
finding
to
out
do
that
with
yourself
Jesus?
doesn't exist. Huh?
What does that have to do with Jesus?
Because that's the journey that he was doing.
The journey he was doing.
Yeah, that was his journey that he was doing.
Where did you learn that?
As you can see it in terms of how he.
Sorry,
The word
Zaz,
he
gotta mute you. The
uses.
cat's getting really loud.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, is what how he. There's certain things that he does that's in Hinduism that he's also reflecting. There's certain things in Buddhism that say the truth is wisdom.
I'm not sure why you're referring to Hinduism or Buddhism. I was asking you how you learned of Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, how I learned for Jesus, of course. You hear Jesus living in the West, coming out from the Bible.
And have you read the Bible from beginning to end?
Yeah, I've read quite a lot. Not every word you remember.
I see.
Word by word.
But have you read it from beginning to end?
Yeah.
And so, do you believe the stories from the Bible, all of them, not just the ones about Jesus? But do you believe all the stories to be true and literal?
No, they're not all literal. There's a lot of deeper meaning to it.
Are any of them not true?
Like Jesus dying for your sins.
Are you saying that's not true?
Yeah, that's not true. It's not true. It's not what happened.
So he didn't die for your sins?
No, he died because yeah, they're on. Well, I should say unalive. They're unalive for what it was, but it wasn't to do with sin. It's nothing to do with our sins. We have to pick up our own cross.
So, does it say that in the Bible that he died for our sins?
He may say that, but it doesn't make any sense.
But it doesn't make sense. Are there other things in the Bible that might not be true?
Yeah, like for example, Isaiah 66, he says, "Offer me a lamb is like offering a broken dog's neck." So there's a lot of, you see, people need to understand the Bible is full of riddles.
Riddles.
And that's why you have
So,
to focus
you're saying
on
riddles
wisdom.
aren't. You're saying the
Focus on
riddles.
wisdom. The wisdom will show you.
Okay, so it feels like if I begin to ask another question, you're going to interrupt me.
Oh, sorry, man.
Why did you request up today's Seeker?
I came to listen.
Just to listen,
Yeah, man.
not to question your own beliefs.
Yeah, I could question I'm listening, I could question my beliefs. There's not really, a belief is a lie.
You say there's not a belief, there is a lie, but you said that you believe Jesus is your Savior. Oh, now it's a knowing. I see.
Yeah, you know. So you transition from believing, not knowing, to not even really aware of it, and then maybe believing, and then you have to come to a point that you know.
What does belief mean?
Belief is a lie.
So the word belief just means lie.
Yeah, it's a lie.
That's what it means.
You don't know.
If I look it up in a dictionary, it's going to mean lie.
Yeah, belief is a lie. It's just simply a
So you're not capable
knowing.
of questioning your beliefs because you've defined belief to mean lie, and you celebrate all the other things that you would have considered beliefs as. Shut the fuck up while I'm speaking. What is the matter with you? I've already pointed out that you keep interrupting. Can you not control yourself?
What is up? I'm just saying.
Do you have a self-control problem?
Okay, continue.
Okay, so you do. You're just not going to answer me now. I'm going to go ahead and move on, Seeker.
I didn't say that. I said you can continue.
I said shut up. Noi or Zaz, did either of you have a question for the guest who can't wait for the end of questions?
Yes, actually, I did have a question. So you mentioned that your purpose was to know yourself. Do you think that you change and grow every day?
Yeah, you change and grow every day.
Yes.
For sure. So.
You do change and grow every day?
Yeah. Yeah, you change. You change every day, every hour, every second.
Okay. So if you're changing every day, always towards something in the future, how will you accomplish your goal of knowing yourself if you're ever changing?
That's the idea. The more you change, the more you try to become something that you're not, the more you're seeking, and there's no peace. It's accepting of oneself to completely let go of the I.
How is it accepting of yourself if you're simultaneously trying to change yourself into something better?
Yeah, that's what happens. So at the beginning, you try to change yourself. You try to seek something that you are more. You try to keep yourself to a certain boundary, to a certain posture of heart, only to realize that there's never peace within you. The peace is simply just letting go of the I, the identity, the identifications that either being given to you or you've given to yourself.
So are you
it's just simply existing. Sorry, Zaz. It's just simply existing in that moment. So you're just existing to exist, rather than saying I am experiencing. You're just experiencing the experiencing. You're just in that moment.
Okay, so your goal then is to stop changing so that you can get to know yourself at that point? Like you have a set goal, and then when you reach that, that's when you can finally know yourself and stop changing?
I mean, then the idea is when would be enough enough? How long are you going to keep changing until you just sit back and just enjoy the beauty what is in front?
So,
We
can I
we
ask you?
yeah, go on.
Uh, so, the only evidence I've ever seen is that you only stop changing when you're no longer living. Is that when you would know that you found yourself, or do
No,
you
you
do
are
it
living.
before then?
No, as
Okay.
you're living, you're
So,
experiencing you're seeing the thoughts that come, but you're not putting any power to the thoughts. You're just it's like clouds. You can't really grab them. You see the shapes. You see them.
oh,
You let
well,
it
I can grab
pass.
them and make shapes, but that's just needle felting. Sorry.
Yeah, I know you do.
Go ahead.
So yeah, so it's just a matter of just allowing things to pass. If you hang on to it, you add power to it, right? And then you're hanging on to something that is dead. It is done. It is gone,
Okay.
right?
So if you're
So
hanging on, wait, if you're letting go of the things that are dead, are you changing?
yeah, if you let go, you're observing the change. You're just experiencing everything. You're experiencing the change. You're experiencing what's in that moment. So let me give you an example. The other day, I walked past a tree. I walked past a flower. I've got an orchard, right?
Mhm.
Flower pot. I loved one of them, so I plucked
No,
it.
don't touch the screen, kitty.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I plucked it, right, and then I left it there, and I'm watching it, and it slowly fades away, right? But what I should have done, I should have just enjoyed it in that moment, that experience in that moment, smelt in that moment. But what I did instead, I took it, I plucked it, and I took it so that I can try to relive that beauty, that experience, that moment of me experiencing that beauty. But if I compare what I had once I plucked it and I'm sitting there, it wasn't the same experience as I saw it in that moment. So I realized in that point that it's just about just experiencing in that moment. You're just experiencing the experience. There's no point holding on to something that is already done and gone. It's dead. A picture is dead. It's gone. It's the old me. It's gone. But it's
Okay,
not.
I think you've thoroughly answered the question.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know about answered. You responded to the question. Zaz, has he answered your question?
Yeah, I mean, I not. He has answered it, not in a way that is making sense to me, if I'm being honest. It kind of reminds me of a episode of Buffy that I saw once, or no, it was on Angel. And this guy, he knew he had this breakup with his girlfriend was coming, because he overheard her having a chat with her friends, and so he was working on some kind of time stopping thing, and he took it to the point of, like, he was trying to freeze a some kind of matter in time as an experiment to see if he could do it. But after he found out this news, he wanted to just he planned a date with his girlfriend, and he wanted to stop time right in that key moment of the date that he liked best, right? So he set this whole elaborate thing up to just stop time. And I'm wondering if that's truly living, if you're seeking to stop time to hold on to that moment with the flower instead of letting it go, are you truly living, or are you just seeking a safe static bubble where you can live out your happiest, joyous moments in?
Said it perfectly. I'm not, you hold me taking a picture. You're not living in that moment. The moment,
Okay.
that exact moment, the flower picking. I took the flower, I picked it, and then he slowly disappeared. Like the same, you know, he lost life. But I forgot that I was appreciating the life, that I was experiencing the beauty in that moment. So I took it rather when I should have left it.
Okay, but that's just a different choice you could have made, right? You're still experiencing it. Time isn't
Yeah,
stopping. You're still, with every change that you make, because at that point you could have decided to leave the flower as well. That would have created a different version of yourself, right? So
Yeah.
it sounds like you're not looking for a point where you can have true acceptance of yourself because you're always going to be changing every day, right? Or if you stop changing, then you're no longer truly living, right?
No, yeah. I mean, you observe the change. You're
Hmm.
observing the change. You're observing that you have consistently being aware that you are experiencing. You have to experience and appreciate the moment. I mean, it's so obvious. I mean, we say it all the time. Yeah, appreciate the moment. But I just think when you deep it, it really is something that human beings, we like to hold on to things that are of the past, and we hold on to those things, and then we become those things becomes our identity. When the idea is to detach as you go along.
So, do you feel that it would be appropriate to update the way that you describe what your goal is of seeking to finally or truly know yourself to some other goal?
I don't know yet. The journey still continues.
I always accept an honest I don't know.
And the journey
Thank,
still continues. I haven't concluded yet. I don't think I'll ever conclude it. But I'll get there. I'll still write and see what happens.
well, thanks for answering my questions. And my cat had a few questions, but I don't know what she said, so you can kind of
Yeah,
ignore her.
those were probably the best questions. But
They
yours were
probably
pretty
were.
good too.
I bet they were, yes. And if I randomly pop out of the live, I just want you guys to know she has been doing this all night. She's desperate for my attention and she keeps trying to swat the screen, and she has interacted on the live a couple times. So I'll try and keep her under control. She is a sweet, loving cat. I think that
Sounds
it's
like it.
yeah.
Hey, Noi.
Oh. Was that purring?
No, Noi.
Are you
Noi.
yawning?
I don't know what
Snoring?
he's doing, but he came off mute to do it, so I'm gonna set him down.
It sounds,
And if
sounds
he
like if that was snoring, it was
sounded
the
like a
craziest.
sinus infection.
Right?
But if there is anybody with a belief in a god or God's higher power or anything like that who's curious enough or courageous enough to question their beliefs, go ahead and request up. We're not here to debate or argue. I'm not trying to burgle your gods. I really am just trying to see if you can question your belief. And what is it you believe? And why do you believe it? Seeker, does it matter to you if your God is real or not?
Um, it doesn't really. It doesn't really matter to me. What matters to me is what is now, what I appreciate now, what I can do now, what difference I can make now. Because if my God would say to me, "Look, I brought you here. What did you multiply? What did you experience? What did you see?" And if I have no stories to tell, then I didn't take the gift I multiplied. If you're mine,
So hang on
if
a
you're
moment, Seeker.
hang on.
Hang on. So it doesn't matter if your God exists or not. To you, it's not so much about the God existing. It's about your interactions in this world, in this life. Do you believe there is an afterlife?
Oh yeah, I believe there is a afterlife.
What is
Might not be the way
afterlife?
we think it is.
Right. So I'm
Uh,
asking what you think.
yeah. Well, I think it's simply just experience. Like I said, you're just going to go through. You're just gonna go through the experiences, be it one, be it it's a nothing. That when you go to sleep, it's just going to be a being of nothingness, of just being emptied and allowing your, and then being aware of you being part of the entire experience of nature, of life.
A being of emptiness and you being aware. How can you be a being of emptiness, of nothing, and also
you
be aware?
Because you're emptying your identity, or you are just there. Same way like you're
Wait,
sleeping.
sorry, if you empty your identity, then what remains?
Life.
How do you know?
Life.
If you're speaking about, I'm a little confused. If you're speaking about afterlife, then you're speaking about a cadaver, and then the cadaver has some kind of emptying of its identity.
Mm.
How is there life remaining if it's a cadaver?
Look at that. Well, life is in you. When life is taken, right?
Life is in you when life is taken. What does
Yeah.
that mean?
So you got life, right? Life can be taken. The life may not belong to you.
What
But
do you mean?
people
Sorry.
believe they could
Now,
take the consciousness.
life. Now my life doesn't belong to me.
Yeah.
What does
So
that even mean?
So we give birth, like I was saying before, like a while ago, we give birth to the living, but we do not give life. The life
We
is only
give
given.
birth to the living, but we don't give life. What is life?
Life is just the presence of what we see. We see signs of life, like you're talking to me.
Sorry, stop for a moment. You said life is the presence of what we see, signs of life.
Yeah. So
What is life?
life
Without using
is,
the word life, what is life?
by using life, I guess. It allows you to see transformation. It gives relevance to time.
Sorry, you're saying it gives relevance to something, but what is it? Life. What is
Life
it?
gives relevance to time.
So you're not telling me what it is. What is life? Not what it
Is
gives
well,
relevance to.
he allows all. I can't really explain to you,
My
bro,
shoe gives
exactly what it's.
relevance to shoelaces. That doesn't explain what a shoe is, though. Can you tell me what life is?
Life is what brings forth creation. But life
Sorry,
itself is just, we don't know exactly, but one will say, I say it's God, the source.
you said life is what breeds creation.
Yeah, is
So what is life?
just the life is just the form. It's just what's here.
Just what's here. What does that
It
mean?
just is. It's just
What do
God,
you
I
mean it
guess.
just is? Now it's just God. Life is
Yeah,
now God.
I've always, my source is God. Life is God.
When
It's
you
just
say
it's
life,
experiencing.
when you say
It's
life
experiencing
is,
different life.
stop. When you say life is, it just is, it is God. Are you actually describing what life is? well, like when I look around me, if I didn't know what life was, and you said find the life, how would I know what life is?
Calm down. Calm down.
Life is what gives everything growth in this world. What
So
allows you to
anything that
experience.
grows is alive.
He has life. He has life of some sort.
Anything that grows at all.
Yeah, I guess so.
So if I go into a cave and I find a stalagmite, and years later I go back and that stalagmite has grown. You remember what stalagmites are, right?
What are those?
The pointy things that come out of the ground in caves. Right? Stalactites are the ones on the ceiling. Right?
Oh, those things. Yeah.
Yeah. So if I see stalagmites on the ground and years later I come back and those stalagmites grew, does that mean the stalagmites are alive?
Do they have breath?
You didn't say that before. You just said things grow. You
Yeah, he
said
has
life
breath of
is what
life.
makes things grow. So
Oh,
if
okay.
stalagmites grow, is
Oh,
that life?
yeah, it's not because he needs to have breath.
Okay. So now life is what grows and breathes.
No, if you have breathing, growing is not just actually just physical growth, it's transition,
Okay,
it's
so
transformation.
you don't have to get bigger, you don't have to actually grow.
Yeah.
You can just think better or think you think better.
No, you need to have life, breath.
What is life?
You need to
So
have
far
breath.
life was growth and now it's not growth, it's any kind
Because
of
when you
just
have
thinking
life,
different. And it's also breath. So
transition
does all life
in growth.
breathe?
Pardon?
Does all life breathe?
Yeah, if you have some type of breath.
What does that mean? Some type of breath.
They have to have they'll have breath. They're living. Even fire. Fire has
Is
it
fire
breathes in
alive too
oxygen.
now?
Well, it brings in oxygen, but it doesn't
Is
have
fire
no,
alive?
it doesn't have consciousness.
Is fire alive?
Life is what gives breath. If it is
I
breathing in
think
breath,
you're done. I don't think you're hearing my questions. I think you're just
what do
kind
you
of
mean?
preaching past. I don't think you're understanding the conversation. So I appreciate you coming up,
I
but I
don't
think
understand.
maybe,
Yeah, has breath. If you have breath,
yeah, Seek, I don't think you're
yeah.
hearing me. You're not understanding my questions, and you're just talking past me to preach.
Oh my God. Okay.
So maybe another time when you're actually clear-headed enough to hear the questions.
I finally figured out what my cat apparently wanted.
Oh,
Yeah, I gave her one of those churro treats and she's like eating it and she's like so excited to be eating it. She's like growling while she eats it. It's crazy.
wow, that's wild.
Whoa, okay. It's all yours, but you only get one. Yep, that's just one. Never heard her make that sound before. She's just like going while she eats. It's crazy. Okay. Yeah, you only get one. No, just one. Was it good? Okay. That's good. Thrayle, have you ever done any like voice acting? Someone's mentioning to do audiobooks. Have you tried it ever?
I haven't done audiobooks, but I have, yeah, I've done a few voice gigs, little projects.
Cool. There's a I've been participating in Artie Bacon's lives where he does the AI voices, kind of like earlier in the day. He only does it like 2 days a week, but it's so much fun.
Yeah, that can be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I read out a poem at the end of every live.
Do you? Cool.
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes pretty long ones.
I did a live once where I read from Thomas Paine. Just like I got pretty far too. I think I read like the first chapter or two. That's hard reading. They didn't speak the same way we do.
No, they didn't. Yes, it's definitely going to be a dense read.
No, you don't get any more. I'm gonna have to find a dark cupboard to hide these cat treats in, because every time they see them, the cats go like start meowing at me. Leviticus joined us. Okay, that's a blast from the past.
Yeah, Leviticus hangs out in the chat. Never have gotten them to join the panel, but no pressure. They're welcome to lurk. But if anybody does have a belief in a god or gods, a higher power, or anything like that, and is curious enough or courageous enough to question their belief, then go ahead and request up. We're not here to debate you. We're not here to burgle your gods. We're not here to destroy your heaven or demolish your faith. I really am just here to see if you can question whatever it is you believe in. And I'm going to go ahead and thank everybody for the 40,000 times you tapped the screen. Really do appreciate that. Of course, every one of those taps and every one of those 45 shares help get us out to the FYP and maybe get somebody else who's curious enough or courageous enough to question whatever it is they believe. Also, while there's a lull, this might be a good time to remind everybody that there's a link tree in my bio or in the Batcolyte's bio. Either one will help you find the community, the Discord, where we hang out between the lives. You get to catch a glimpse of what happens behind the scenes. There's also links to, of course, the Cash App, the Venmo, but the YouTube channel there where I'm also streaming the lives and you can see archived episodes. And what else? Oh, there might be a few more interesting things there if you look around. if this might be a good time to pull out another one of those jams from the community. I think I know just the song.
I stay up all night to question my beliefs. Something I decided when I was asleep. Where have I been guided? How far have I gone? What was decided? Where did I go wrong? My hidden assumptions, I'll ponder them deep and stay up all night to question my beliefs. Comfort of purpose, the prison of fate, longing for connection before it's too late. Anything greater than the base and mundane. Something to give meaning to all of my pain. But where have I been guided? How far have I gone? What was decided? Where did I go wrong? My hidden assumptions, I'll ponder them deep and stay up all night to question my beliefs.
One step upon the road of errant hue, yellow bricks flicker then renew. Thou claspest thy basket of half-bitten seeds, askest me softly, whither doth this trail lead? I smile as one who hath trod this path for years, my hand warm against thy fears. Past every window thou darest not break, past every apple thou never dost take. Come walk the unfurling with me, where the path doth double blink, then reformeth beneath thy feet. Every shimmer is a question, every question is a key. Come walk the unfurling, just breathe, just blinking monochrome light. Billboards preaching comic book spite. Voice in the gutter saith, child, thou art late. Yet the mouth is a mask, and the mask is a gate. He leans all color, teeth and charm, bone thin, yet strangely warmed. All art thou lost or finally found. Each word striketh the pavement, then curled off the ground. Come walk the unfurling with me, where the sermons wear suits, and they laugh through their teeth. Every promise is a puzzle, every blessing hideth a thief. Come walk the unfurling, thou shalt see, thou shalt see. He crooketh the finger, voice all smirk and smoke. Turn back, sweetheart, ere the glass getteth broke. Thy fragile faith, thy paper thin belief, I sell relief, I specialize in grief. Thou lookest to me, I am weary of being tried. I touch thy cheek, then step outside the side. His accent rattles like a subway train. Stay small, stay safe, bear the same old name. But the bricks misfire, swap beneath thy shoes. A door appeareth, demanding thou choose. His laughter splitteth into a choir off the rails. Genderless whispers weaving tangled fairy tales. So walk the unfurling with me, past the velvet threats and the crooked decrees. Every halo here is borrowed, every shadow seeketh the seat. But thou art the one who nameth the truth beneath. Come walk the unfurling with me, past the hungry creeds and the gothic mystique. Take my hand till thou art ready to let go and still believe in thine own strange shining, blasphemous, brilliant, self-made creed. Thou leavest thy basket at the skeleton's throne. He tippeth his hat, thou art better off alone. I fade like a rumor in the wings of thy mind. Thou steppest off the path and redrawest the line. Pain flaked off the mirror horse, jawbone grin, chipped glass eyes. Black lace on a velvet pole, creaks in circles, choir, it cries. Moonlight on the weathered main, ticket booth with no one there, your breath falls box of tilted glass. Cold brass rings the empty air. Round, round, gallows carousel, dance with the shadows, darling. Oh, hand on a splintered handle, prayers on your tongue, but you keep on falling. Round, gallows carousel, where every sweet dream sours. Right till the rust stains your wrist. Count the bones instead of the hours. Candy skulls and paper bags, moths asleep in crooked masks, fortune cards with burned out ink, futures just the questions asked. Bandstand draped in tattered red, songbooks nailed and left to rot. You hum the tune you almost know, it's on your lips, then it's not. Who built this crooked heaven? Who the music tight? Who keeps the painted ponies pacing in the night? Hey, round, 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 gallows carousel, dance with the shadows, darling. No, hand on a splintered handle, prayers on your tongue, but you keep on falling. Round, round, gallows carousel, where every sweet dream sours. Right till the rust stains your wrist. Count the bones instead of the hours. Instead of the
Hell yeah. This is a good time for me to jump in. And of course, thank everybody for helping us hit the gift goal. Thank you so much to, well, I can already see Zaz in there, but also Claire, Tricera Bear, Cat the Witch, Tech Omega, Jazz, Shell, Glam Scum, Poetry, and, well, I think there was even one more that didn't make the list on a private account, but thank you guys so much. Really appreciate all of you helping with the goal. And thank you so much to Jimmy B for that first song, to question your beliefs. And also, thank you to, had to check my list. It was Brad who did the unfurling. That was a beautiful song. Very haunting. And I couldn't help but follow it up with Gallows Carousel, one of my favorite, that was inspired by all of you. So thank you.
Mama said, boy, don't worry. Everything's part of a plan. I said, who? She said, don't ask that.
Oh, it sounds like the music went right on to another song that deserves just as much air. So I guess we'll let it happen until somebody with a belief in a god or gods or higher power or anything like that finds their way to requesting a
Bought a map to heaven from a man in a moth-eaten suit. Said just follow these arrows and ignore that hole in the roof.
I asked him for directions to the nearest honest word. He laughed so hard his halo slipped and spooked the passing birds.
Oh my.
Welcome to the carnival of doubt. Step right up, let your questions out. Win a prize if your faith falls through. Cotton candy if it might be true.
Round and round on the carousel of why we poke at the truth till it rolls its eyes.
If you're certain, you're probably lost, my friend.
At the carnival of doubt.
We doubt again.
Mama said, boy, don't worry. Everything's part of a plan. I said, who? She said, don't ask that. And stirred the pot with her hand.
Preacher on the corner selling thunder in little glass jars. I asked for a refund when it rained inside. He said, take it up with the stars. Welcome to the carnival of doubt. Step right up, let your questions out. Win a prize if your faith falls through. Cotton candy, it might be true. Spin the wheel, mark, maybe never then. Trade your halo for a leaky pen. If you're certain, you're probably lost, my friend, at the carnival of doubt. We doubt again. Do you bet your little lies before you go to sleep? Do you bargain with the dark like it's yours to keep?
If the devil showed receipts, would you still be sure?
If the devil showed receipts, would you still be sure? If the saints forgot your name, would you knock on one more door? One more door. Welcome to the carnival of doubt. Step right up, let your questions out. Win a prize if your faith falls through. Cotton candy, it might be true. Take a ticket, let your certainties bend. Hold my hand till the questions end. When they don't, well, we'll hear anyway. At the carnival of doubt, we'll doubt our doubts away.
I think we just moved on to a random song. Oh, Morgan wasn't remotely ready. Well, that's fine. I wasn't either. I had another song queued up.
Welcome to the Batcolyte, and you question your beliefs. Request on up. Do you have a belief in a God, a higher power? And you can question that belief. Request on up.
He sits where the shadows meet the corner wall, an open striped suit, standing thin and tall. Oh, daddy grin with a porcelain stand, sipping on the silence in the smoky air. So so quiet. He doesn't have a heart, but he feels the hum of the neon lights and the beating drum. He taps a finger on a silver cane and asks if your soul is just a trick of the brain. Tell me, child, what is this energy? This spark you carry like a mystery. Is it a spirit, a fire, a frantic wire, or just a ghost born of your own desire? What is the light? questions the heavens and the stories you tell of the pearly gates and the fires of hell. He says he's been born for 100 years and hasn't seen a God in the valley of tears. Not a single soul. His ribs are a cage for hollow space where the echoes of the living leave a trace. Is life just a current that eventually breaks, or a debt you pay for the breath it takes? Tell me, child, what is this energy? This spark you carry like a mystery. Is it a spirit, a fire, a printed wire, or just a ghost born of your own desire? Oh, daddy's laughing in the dim blue light, watching your candle burn through the night. Just energy, it's all just energy, fading into the soul.
Good morning, Morgan. How are you?
Good morning. I'm here.
It's been a very slow morning. We had one person come up who could question well, I guess they could question a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Zaz did really great questioning.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
It's a little help from my cat.
That's true. The cat was feeding you questions. We all heard it.
Oh.
She's still doing it.
I'm not surprised. Zaz is a good questioner.
Oh, thank you. That's high praise.
Oh, thank you, Shell, for catching me on that. I'm being, slow as usual. Thank you so much. Did I already think? Yeah, I did, but I'm going to do it again. Thank you, Glam Scum Poetry, Zaz, Shell. Also, Jazz, Tech Omega, Cat the Witch, Claire, and Tricera Bear. You guys are all amazing. Appreciate you. And I think, thank you for the 42,000 likes also. That's awesome. Of course, I think you're all lucky Cat's not in here. That's all I'm saying. She might be asleep.
Yeah, but I am. Guys.
It took me about 5 minutes to figure out where on the screen to tap to get it to work. I have to admit, when I try and tap on just the box, it just brings up the gift thing. It won't let me tap that way. You have to find a tiny little spot right above the top of the picture. Mm-hmm. So, in case anybody was having trouble, that's how you tap. Right above the name.
I think it depends on the panel
Device
configuration,
right,
and device as well.
That makes sense. So on a Samsung, that's probably what you need to do. Yeah, I know. Shall we question my cat? Anyone have any questions for her? She's very vocal right now and giving out answers, I think.
She's very participatory. I love it.
It's great for like 10 minutes or so at a time, and then it's like, stop already.
Mm-hmm.
She's been doing this for quite a while. I think she's going into heat. I'm not sure yet, but I think that's what it is.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Mm-hmm. She's due. Mm-hmm. Really? Morgan, you have a dog?
I have 2 dogs, a cat, a goat, about 20 chickens, and 6 cows.
That's so cool. I had a pet goat when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
Named Billy. I didn't get to keep him though because someone in the neighborhood said there's laws or whatever, and they made me take him to, made me take him to a local farmer, and I visited him once in a while, but that was kind of awkward after a while because I used to date his son, and then we broke up. So,
It just
I
got
didn't.
weird.
Yeah, then it gets weird. It's like he was afraid I was going to come and get the goat. No.
What the fuck? Okay.
No, the rest of the story was true except that last part. But he was great. I used to walk him around the neighborhood with I didn't have a collar, just like a rope, just loosely on his neck. And I didn't have to tug him or anything. He'd just walk with me. The rope was just in case I needed to tie him up by a tree with a nice patch of grass or something, if we were doing something. But he went everywhere with me for about 2 months until the neighbor complained.
My goat is not as kind. He has an appointment himself to get that taken care of.
Well, mine was young. He wasn't fully grown when I had him. He was just young. He was a kid.
Yeah, I think Black Peter is 3 now.
Aw. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Either way, he's a bully, and the reason that we only have him, so we're about to have that.
That makes sense. Mm-hmm. My neighbor was into square foot gardening, and I suspect that's what he had against my goat, is he thought the goat would like get into his garden or something.
I also worry about that, and that's when I put my goat on a lead and then just kind of let his trailer open, and he just kind of walks around. Can't get to my garden if he's tied up.
Right, there you go. Ow. Mm-hmm. Over here is going to be very loud.
It's a very, very loud cat.
She is very loud. She was rubbing her face on the side of the phone, and then she meowed, so she was practically eating the microphone. I think I might call the vet today and see if they can squeeze her in the next couple of days. Although they'll probably make me wait.
Mm-hmm. But it's something they do.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of waiting, we're all just waiting to see if anybody with a belief in a god or gods, a higher power, or anything like that is curious enough or courageous enough to question that belief. If you are, then find one of those boxes over there, or the pink and blue people down there next to your chat box, and make your way up here and see if you really can question that belief. If you can, I might have a few questions for you. And I'll bet Zaz's cat does too.
Let's ask her. What do you think, baby? She
One
didn't,
time,
she didn't say it. All this time she can't be quiet, and I ask her a question and she's like, nope. Oh, you're making me look bad over here, baby. Yeah, somebody's got to be able to ask questions. Okay.
Blake says they've already questioned their beliefs. That's how they landed where they are now. Well, Blake, I would wonder if you can question that landing. Are you really on solid ground?
Mm-hmm. My hat woke barking toaster up. See what you did, baby?
We tried to invite Barfing Toaster. I'm sure he would have enjoyed his time. He's had some great questions before.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, he's been up here before. More than once.
I love that name, Constant Ponder. That's really cool.
I wonder if they do ponder constantly.
They might be able to answer some questions about their beliefs.
They might. If they even have pondered themselves into having any beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
Something strange happened to me earlier today. I don't know how to interpret it though. So I was scrolling through TikTok and there was this woman who did this great vocalization in like the normal, like Western traditional range of music, like Western European, and then also did side by side with the scale that is common in like the Middle Eastern regions. And when she did the Middle Eastern scale, my cat came running from across the room, um, and just got very interested in my phone all of a sudden. And that's when she started behaving weird. And I wonder if that music just reminded her that she was worshipped in Egypt. I don't really think that last part is true, but the rest of it is. I played that music and she came booking from the other side of the room to check it out. She really liked it.
That's not the first time I've heard something like that. I'm
interesting.
curious what
Might be the intervals, the harmonies.
That's what I'm wondering.
Cats are very good at picking up things. You know, their hearing's like far superior. That's their superpower. They can tell where a bird is in a tree just by their, you know, like precisely which branch it's on. It's amazing.
And I've seen it specifically with, like, you know, quote unquote ancient Egyptian music, or just ancient Middle Eastern music that has that result. So
But it was just the scale. She was doing that example of the half step scale for singing, you know, that
yeah, I think
that's
it's the
what,
pentatonic scale for.
yeah, couldn't think of the name, but that's the one.
I had to teach my children music theory, so.
That's cool. I love that sound. Of course, I like the crisp notes on the other side too. The Western European musical scale is awesome as well, but there is something haunting about the what was the name of the scale again?
Pretty sure it's pentatonic.
Pentatonic, yeah, that's it. I'll have to say it a few times before I remember it.
It's just like the name of the a cappella band, if you've heard them.
I don't think I have.
Pentatonic 5-tone scale.
5-tone scale, yeah, pentatonic. Shell had a cat that hated 9-inch nails. So sad.
That is sad.
Yes.
You almost got me. You almost got me to talk about music theory instead of beliefs. If anybody's got a belief in a god or gods, higher power, or anything like that, and you're curious enough or courageous enough to question that belief, go ahead and request up. We're not here to debate you, and I'm not quite ready to go to bed. I need at least one more good believer to question before I read a poem and find my way into slumber.
Find your way back to your perch. Is it a perch if you hang from it?
I don't know.
While we're all sitting here waiting, you can keep tapping the screen You can share out the live, you can repost it, you can post it to your story, share it to your friends, your family, your lovers, your ex-lovers, your enemies, whatever. Doesn't matter, just someone who might believe in a god, gods, higher power, or anything else like that, and can potentially question that belief.
Mhm. Good to see you, Ike. Did you happen to bring any Christians with you or other believers who can question their
Right.
beliefs?
I'm eager to switch the lighting back, but I think we might need another song or two before the believers find their way up to the panel. It's either that or we question Morgan.
Oh no.
Morgan,
Yes.
keeper of the lore.
That's me.
Are there any stories not worth keeping?
Not coming to bed yet, baby. No.
No, I don't believe so. A story doesn't necessarily have worth like that, if that makes sense.
Are there ever stories not worth telling?
No, I don't believe so.
Have you seen the room?
In what regard?
The movie, The Room.
I don't think so. That doesn't sound familiar to me.
It might change your mind about stories worth keeping.
Perhaps. However,
Either that or spoons.
I hear what you're saying. There are lots of stories that perhaps should only be told once. But I don't believe that there is a story that isn't worth telling or keeping. Because the stories we create, whether they're good, they're bad, they're heinous, they're holy, they're us. And if we choose censorship over preservation, we will lose a big part of us.
Is abstaining from keeping a story the same as censorship?
Yes. Because without that piece, the puzzle's incomplete. You don't get the whole picture.
Can some pieces muddy the picture? Make it harder to
Definitely.
see what's really there?
Absolutely.
Well, and you think you should just keep the mud?
The mud's gonna stain. The mud happened regardless of whether you wanted it to or not. Why would you ignore the stain? People are gonna ask.
Is this a futile belief?
Probably. Doesn't make it any less worthy.
Are any stories more worthy than others?
Worthy of what?
I suppose that's going to go back to your determination of worthiness.
Mm-hmm.
You said it doesn't make them less worthy. What makes them worthy?
Worthy of what?
Well, and that there is in your statement. So when you said doesn't make them less worthy, what was it you meant by worthiness?
I see. I understand. A story being told is what makes it worthy of keeping, remembering, recording.
So just by being told, it is therefore worthy.
Mm-hmm. We can't account for a lot of oral traditions that haven't been recorded or passed down because the last person who practiced them wasn't able or willing to pass it on. I mean, not including any of those oral traditions, even though that we don't have those things written down, in my opinion, is really disingenuous. The fact that these things happened, the fact that these stories were told, the fact that these traditions were carried on for, however long, fills in a piece of the puzzle of humanity, not just the localized whatever it's involved in. If that makes sense. I feel like that got really abstract and I apologize.
Are any stories harmful to keep?
No, it's more harmful not to keep them.
Is story your God?
No. I don't worship it. I'm not beholden to it. I don't feel guilty for not. But then I also don't really know what a God is, so maybe. I don't know.
Is the confliction of stories relevant to your belief?
Yes.
How?
Because I believe that every iteration of a story should be recorded, whether it's wrong or right.
Good question.
Absolutely, Zaz.
Thanks.
I
So,
was waiting for that.
so does the motive of the storyteller make a difference in its value?
No, that contributes to the value.
By value, do you mean a positive value or a value on a scale of positive and negative?
Value on a scale of positive and negative.
Do you feel that stories that may have a negative value or may create harm should be labeled as such before people encounter them?
Yes.
And do you feel the same way about a story that is portrayed as truth but is actually not true?
Can you rephrase that question, please?
Do you feel that a story that is portrayed to be true but is not actually true needs to be labeled as such so people know it's not true?
No.
And is that true in every situation like that, or are there exceptions?
There's exceptions.
That's fair. I don't think I have any other questions, actually. Thank you.
Thank you for the questions. I appreciate it.
What do you think might change your belief that all stories have value?
You've been planning this for like a week. I don't know that there's anything that would change it. I think it's just as important to tell the stories of our horrible mistakes as it is to tell the stories of our greatest triumphs and anything in between. It's hard for me to really think about what would convince me that a story should not be kept or told or anything like that. That doesn't compute for me. There's little pieces of information in everything.
Do you feel that a person has a right to refuse to hear a story? Like, say, if someone is repeating a story to them that is threatening or designed to instill fear or harm to them, do they have a right to refuse that?
Well, absolutely.
Well, then why can't I get my cat to be quiet? Oh, I thought of another question.
Okay.
Who, if anyone, should be responsible for ranking stories as true or determining the truth of a story or the falsehood of one? Does that power lie in the single person or group of people?
Well, that power. Blah, 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 blah. I need your cat to not steal my tongue while I'm talking. Thank you.
Please. She won't shut up. I've tried.
I think everybody, like, I think the truth can only be found by the individual. So I would say that the responsibility of verifying the validity is on the individual receiving or keeping the story.
I'm trying to think in my mind how that would work. Would it be like who would you, if you suspected a story was not a true story, who would you go to find out if it's true, and how would you validate what they're telling you if there was no...
I mean, I could tell you, but then I'd have to unalive you.
We're not going to go that far.
No, actually, I can't. I cannot cleanly answer that question. I apologize.
No, I can't think of an answer to it either. So
I can think of an answer. I just can't answer it.
Oh, okay.
A detailed story teaches someone how to harm others. Should that be preserved?
Yes.
And told?
Yes.
Unrestricted?
In what regard?
Should that be a restricted information?
Yes.
How? And who decides?
No, you know what? That's not even my real answer. I'm thinking about it, and that's not my real answer. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take that back and take the opposite stance.
At which point?
I don't believe it should be restricted.
I see.
I think it comes down to understanding the overall context.
If the context is an intentional guide for harming others, told as a children's narrative,
I'm not sure.
it's a little engine that could not quit running people over. I like the not sure. Score one, I don't know. For Morgan, not me.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm gonna have to think on that for a little bit. I'm gonna have to sit with that one.
I have a deeper rabbit hole on that line of questioning, but I don't want to push too hard right now.
I appreciate that.
I thought harm manual might be the most obvious place to start, but yeah. And I haven't been planning it for a week.
Only a day.
Like 10 minutes. Give or take.
The shy little, it's only been 10 minutes. Jeez.
I have a nerdy question related to your topic.
Go for
it.
Okay. So, who has the right to change Star Wars? Is it George Lucas because he's the one who authored it? Or do the fans have a right to be upset when he changes it and gets rid of the original footage where Han shot first?
Well,
that's midichlorians.
Right. The midichlorian changes in the storyline included. Yes, they're fair game.
No, I absolutely not. Fuck the fans. It doesn't belong to you. Sorry.
Yeah, it is his work, isn't it? But
Yeah.
is it still his work once he sold it to Disney?
No.
Yeah.
Sucks to suck.
That does suck, doesn't it? Thank you. Are you a Star Wars fan?
Of many different fandoms I'm a part of.
And how do you feel about the contention between the people who only like the original first three movies and everybody else?
Well, I fall in that first camp. Not a huge fan of the new movies. However, I don't think because of how they've deviated from the original source material that makes them any less worthy of consideration than the first six. Because the same thing happened when the prequels came out. Everyone was like, you're changing it and we hate it. Blah, blah, blah. Guess what? Everybody loves them.
Right.
But that's also why I think it's important to keep the right copies and the wrong copies of stories.
So you would object to George Lucas's destruction of the original version of the Star Wars? So I believe he did, he hid that away from everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So does that?
No, I would absolutely disagree with that. That should not happen.
Was that a villainous act on his part?
Absolutely. Selfish.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel and write fanfic and like totally change the nature of the stories? Do they have a right to do that?
What do you mean by right? I'm not sure I'm a fan of the word right there.
Well, so fans of the Harry Potter series, for instance, on forums writing stories based on all the characters, but they're their own stories. They're writing new stories based on the genre.
Well, we all know what Twilight was and how that relates to 50 Shades of Grey. Both of which, ugh.
So, are you saying that there is a line between inspiration and just confiscation and taking somebody else's artistic work and making minor changes to exploit it? And I guess where would that line be?
Right. I think everybody has a right to creative license. I don't think everyone has a right to the content. Consent is still required.
So it's okay if people are following copyright laws, would you say? Would that be the determination?
Not necessarily.
Is it the difference between if somebody's trying to make money off of it or doing it just as a hobby and because they enjoy the genre so much?
I think that might be my line, yeah.
That's fair. I think that's all my questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Zaz.
Great questions.
Mm-hmm.
I have more, but I'm holding on to some cards.
Probably a good idea.
But maybe you have a belief in a god or gods, higher power, or anything like that. And maybe you can question that belief. All you've got to do is hit one of those boxes or the pink and blue people next to your chat box and find your way right up here to the panel where we won't be debating you. Nobody's here to prove you wrong or burgle your gods. I really just want to know, if you can question your beliefs, then what is it you believe? And why do you believe it? I think I look 25% less intimidating while there's a cat behind me speaking.
It makes you more approachable.
It does. I feel more approachable. also noticed that my headphones are pinching my hair in just the right way that it looks like I have really out of control mutton chops.
I was gonna mention that to you, but I thought you already knew.
I mean, I noticed. I just kind of didn't think about it for a while, and now I can't unsee it.
Ike said you can question my fervent atheistic evangelism when my kids leave for school.
I want to question my cat and ask her why she won't be quiet.
She just told you.
Yeah, I don't understand. I think she wants me to go to bed is what it is.
Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's like, you're supposed to be in bed right now. And she's walking around my chair in a circle. And then she goes over to the bed. She gets in it for a while and sees if I come with her. And when I don't, she comes back and meows at her. Yeah. It's that important to you, is it? Okay. Oh, yeah, I should ask her. Baby, do you want snuggles? You want snuggles? Okay. She says yes, I think.
Is it about that time for you, Vass?
Well, according to my normal schedule, it is. Tell me, because the weekend's coming up and the kids will be coming. So,
The AI says debating fan fiction and creative license and storytelling. Share your take. Not quite debating. There was some questioning. And if you can question your belief, then go ahead and request up. We're not looking to take that belief from you. We are really just curious if you even can question it. Do you think you can?
Okay. Nick Carr, we're here to question people's beliefs. If you have any beliefs you'd like to have questioned, come on up. That's what it was. She's quiet now, making biscuits. She was yelling at me to go to bed.
I'm feeling like I might be doing that soon, going to bed. But only if I don't have some guest of some kind curious enough or courageous enough to come up and question their belief. Absent that, I may have to prepare a poem and get myself to questioning my lucidity.
When's the last time you did a music break?
It hasn't been that long. Before you came up and we questioned
one or two songs.
I think I have just the song ready.
Are you sure? Do you know that knowledge is yours to know? Is the truth out there? Is it yours to own? Are you sure? Do you debate yourself for reality? Are the facts in question? Are you firm in your belief? Are you certain? Are you sure? Can you question? Are you sure? Got a quiet little table in the corner by the bar, where the questions pour like whiskey and the truth walks in unstarred. I'm not stealing any halos, I'm not picking heaven's lot, just a curious kind of stranger tapping gently on the box. So come on up, join the panel palette, slide your stories in the light. I won't burgle any gods you're holding, I just want to see if they survive the night. Lay your answers on the table or say nothing if you fall confession. It might be the truest one of all. You can bring your saints and sages, you can bring your private prayers. We'll hang them on the coat rack with our worries and our stares. Every creed can take a shiver, every faith can feel a chill. If it trembles when we touch it, tell me, was it ever really still? So come on up and join the panel, darling. Let your certainties feel small. I won't shake the sky just to be clever. I just want to see what stands, what falls. Lay your answers on the table or leave fingerprints installed. 'Cause I don't know is a sweet surrender. It might be the truest one of all. I'm not here to steal your Sunday or the stories that you trust. I just dust them in the doorway, see what's diamond, what is dust. When the last defense is silence, when the brightest words grow dim, maybe doubt's a kind of chapel, and the question is a hymn. So come on up and join the panel, darling. Let your sacred shadows crawl. I won't pick the pockets of your heaven. I just want to see if it can hold us all. Lay your answers on the table or let uncertainty stand tall. 'Cause I don't know, in a smoky whisper, might be the truest line of all.
I believe what my mind would tell me. Every thought felt true. I watched the signs in the distance, like they all pointed through. But a small voice kept on knocking, soft as evening rain. Said, are you sure about the story? You've been calling your name. What if the question shine the light in the dark of the night? What if I don't need answers to know I'm doing alright? I let the wondering move me, like the tide, like the sea. Maybe not knowing nothing is what's setting me free. I try to stay thinking good thoughts, like a rule, like a law. When the road went the wrong way, I blame my mind for the fall. Rising, doing what it do, showing up with a lesson I never tried to choose. What if the question shine the light when the road don't feel right? What if trust ain't controlling every wrong and every right? I let the wondering move me, like a leaf on a breeze. Maybe not knowing nothing is the truth underneath. I don't need to force the feeling, I don't need to pretend. Some things come when they're ready, some things never explain. If imagination Said you don't have to figure every sign, every clue. Just walk with the mystery. Let it walk with you. Yeah, the questions shine the light like a flame, soft and small. They don't tell me where I'm going. They just help when I fall. And move me like the moon pulls the sea. Maybe not knowing nothing is what believing can be. So I loosen my grip on the answers. Let the night breathe slow. If the truth wants to find me, it already knows. Oh, I walk easy with the wondering. Let the daylight come through. Turns out the questions were a blessing all along, not the proof.
Baseline crawling low in me. In between neon free hands don't rest. Feels like a test. You lean closer. I laugh it off. I play it cool, but I can feel it tightening the noose. Don't ask me why. Don't look too deep. There's things I buried I don't wanna keep. Your words got teeth. They bite too true. I ain't afraid of you. Just what your questions do. Bass goes thumping, heart in sync. Every silence makes me think. What you see and what you guess. Pulling threads I never pressed. Snap your fingers, time stands still. Like you're testing iron will. But I'm fraying at the seams. You're too close to in-betweens. You tilt your head, you start to pry. Like you can hear my alibi. Don't ask me why, don't chase that thread. There's ghosts that wake up when those words get said. You dig too slow, you dig too smooth. I ain't afraid of truth. Just what it makes me prove. Questions grip right, candle wax, melting through the thinnest cracks. Every wire loaded gun, every answer comes undone. Say it sweet, say it kind, still it claws inside my mind. You don't shout, you don't accuse. That's what makes it harder to refuse. You ever feel a word before it lands? Like it's already breaking something. Don't ask me why, just let it slide.
come on down, folks, don't miss the scene. With a cup of brew that'll fulfill your dream. Blueberry coffee, it's a taste divine. Sipping on sweetness, it's simply sublime. Question your beliefs, take a little pause. Blueberry coffee, let's take a chance. One sip of magic, join in the dance. Lose your worries, let the flavors flow. Life's a swing when you're brewing, let it show. Feel the rhythm as the coffee brews, swing into flavor with every single fuse. Well, shake your doubts with every single sip. Blueberry bliss, it's a joy-filled trip. Come on down, friends, don't wait too long. Blueberry coffee, let's take a chance. One sip of magic, join in the dance. Lose your worries, let the flavors flow. Life's a swing when you're brewing, let it show. So come on down to Blueberry Cafe, where every sip makes your troubles sway.
Hello, Rushana. Are you with us? Did you mean to join? I'm gonna guess you didn't mean to, and I'm gonna set you down gently. And if anybody's got a belief in a god or gods, higher power, or anything like that, and you're curious enough or courageous enough to question that belief, then go ahead and request up. We're not here to debate you or argue. I'm not looking to tear you down or burgle your gods. I really just want to know, if you can question your belief, then what is it you believe, and why do you believe it? And, well, I might have a few more questions for you.
Don't.
I might have a few more questions for you, too.
Did we lose music? There it is.
Hello.
Good morning, Blake. How are you?
Good. How's the questioning going?
Questionably.
If at all.
That's what I said. We're at 46,000 likes. Really? I mean,
Attaboy, Thrayle.
really? 46.
It's 7:34 here on the East Coast, and we haven't even broke 50K. What is happening right now? I get that it's been a slow night. Apparently. Oh, see, and now he's got bars. See what you did?
If you don't tap enough, Thrayle will cease to exist. What do y'all not get about this?
I do believe in questioners. Yeah.
The believometer is falling, and we need to back up.
Now we got this guy.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ike.
Morning.
I think you've been up on the panel once or twice. Can you remind me your age for TikTok TOS?
Yeah, I'm 32.
And do you have a belief in a god or gods, higher power, or anything like that?
No, I don't.
And why the hell not?
You know, I just don't really see any evidence for it. I'm kind of agnostic to the idea. You know, I don't have any positive belief in it, but I won't claim that I have any like actual evidence against it. Like, so I don't know. Even though I think that's less probable, I have some epistemic like humility about that. Like, I wouldn't say I can be certain either way.
What do you think might compel you to to believe that a God does exist?
I guess it would depend on basically what definition of God you're talking about. I'm much more open to the idea of like some type of bare creationism, or deism or theism without like a large number of specified attributes. The main reason I would normally classify myself as atheism is I feel like most of the time when I'm asked about it, it's got a lot of baggage entailed with that I don't really think is helpful. Like if you're talking about the God out of any specific religious text or anything. But sorry, that didn't really answer your question. That was because I think, if I remember right, your question was what could compel me. And so I was basically saying, I'm not exactly sure what would be necessary to compel me, but I would be more easily compelled, basically, was my answer, of something that doesn't have as much baggage. So if by God you meant something that like has a lot of specific attributes, I feel like I would need a lot better reason to believe something like that. But for bare creationism, or just a more broad idea of God, I could see like experiences that I've heard people talk about, even like in NDEs and things like that. I could see having some experience like that that would lead me to be more likely to have a belief like that.
What about an experience like that do you think would compel you towards God belief?
I just think I haven't had, because I previously held a Christian God belief. So I feel like because there were things that didn't line up with me eventually when I questioned it more, for that, I lean more toward just the broad non-belief. And I do think that makes me slightly harder to convince. But if there was some experience that I felt like gave me any positive evidence, made me feel more connected in some kind of spiritual way to other things in the world, then maybe that would, be more convincing for me. But at the moment, I haven't really had any experiences that lead me to think that there is like this idea of spirit or anything like that that's entailed with like most ideas of a God belief or something supernatural or divine.
What does divine mean to you?
That's a good question. I don't really know. I guess I use it just to say, when I say divine or supernatural or spiritual, I feel like I kind of use this idea of things that I hear, like that remind me of my Christian background, because that's what I grew up as my entire life, of things that can't be explained by any natural laws, something that doesn't follow the laws of physics or like any natural explanation that we would see. They would have to have some kind of other explanation. And because I don't really see that, that's why I don't have any positive belief in it. But that's still kind of how I would describe that. And that's, but because I don't believe in it, it's kind of hard for me to, to define it.
Does it matter to you if a God exists or not?
Not really. I don't think it would change much about how I live my life. I feel like I still try to be a good person and try to do what seems best in my life for the people I encounter. But again, it would kind of depend on what idea of God. If there was a God that had like more specific requirements for us or anything like that I was very compelled to believe, then I guess if I knew for sure something like that existed, I may be, even if it's something that I don't feel compelled to morally, currently, if I had good reason for believing that it was something that was important to a creator or had some kind of punishment or anything, I still don't think I would be able to go against my morals to do anything like that. But I would be more compelled to, if it was some type of God with a mind and a will and preferences, I do think I would, be compelled to try to stay in line with those preferences.
Sorry, I had to step away for a moment, so sorry if you said this. But was there ever a time when you were a believer?
Yes. I'm 32, and I deconstructed sometime in the last 2 years. So I was a youth minister. I went to school for religious studies. So I've always been very active in the Christian church. So I was a Christian much longer than I have not been a Christian.
What was it that compelled you to leave that faith?
I can't remember one specific thing. I can name lots of things, though, I guess, that built upon each other, mostly regarding the Bible. I don't have any church trauma. I don't have any anything like that. I always had a good community at church. I would say it's mostly just the more I studied the Bible, a lot of the notions I had about the Bible or beliefs I had about the Bible, the more I studied them, the less they kind of made sense. Because I grew up Asian. My family and my church taught me that a flood happened, the earth was 5,000 to 6,000 years old, and like just a lot of that evolution wasn't real. A lot of ideas that I actually feel like I started looking into a lot of the stuff, both in the Bible and as both in the Bible and into the science. I feel like I was looking into it initially to be able to spread Christianity better. I wanted to be really informed on the science to know why people thought evolution was real, but why it wasn't, and why people thought the earth was so old, but why it wasn't. And everything I looked into on the side of the claims of Christianity, or my church in specific, the beliefs I'd grown up in specifically, when I looked into the claims about the earth being 6,000 years old, I just couldn't find any showed the opposite. And I was always brought up believing there were no contradictions in the Bible. And every time I read my Bible, I found another contradiction. So it wasn't someone showing me contradictions. It was me reading it and looking into it and seeing, oh, this is an apologetic for how Christians try to explain it away. And it doesn't make much sense to me because I knew a little bit about the culture and stuff. And when I look into scholars, both Christian and non-Christian scholars, they all were just okay with seeing it as a contradiction and had better explanations for why it was there. So I initially feel like I just deconstructed those ideas a little at a time. So like I deconstructed the idea of inerrancy, but I was still a Christian. And then I deconstructed the idea of young earth creationism, but I was still a Christian. And then I deconstructed the idea of, like a global flood, but I was still a Christian. And the more and more that happened, all of the things I held on to as evidence just no longer compelled me to think I was justified in those beliefs. So I initially thought I had enough information to be justified in believing those things were true. And then, like every piece of evidence I found seemed to make me realize why I wasn't justified in that belief. And once I came to that conclusion, it was a very slow, long process, but I just no longer considered myself to have belief in it anymore.
Was there one particular thing you think that made you start to question?
It was like I said, it was a really long process, but I do feel like part of it was fear. I think for the longest time, I did always have a fear of, I had a fear of hell, and that was part of it because I'd always been brought up with those ideas of hell. But I also think that I had a fear of alienation because my only community, everybody I knew my entire life was all Christian. So I also, anything I would say to question it, um, I basically felt like I wouldn't be able to talk about any of those things to anybody I lived around, my family, my friends, because they all grew up with the same beliefs I did. So I remember one day after I learned Greek, reading like parts of the New Testament, looking up all of the different words for hell, and there's like 5 different Greek words for hell, and then some separate Hebrew words, Sheol, all the different ideas of an afterlife in the Bible, and they didn't really agree with each other. And I feel like that was one thing that once I no longer had that fear because I had more knowledge about it, it broke down that fear a little bit. And I actually brought that up to someone in my family. I was like, hey, like, have you ever looked into this? Because a lot of my family and my wife's family are also in ministry and stuff. I brought that up to one of them, these different words for hell and the different implications each one of them had. And they really just kind of shut it down and said, no, what you're saying is wrong. Hell's real, like whatever. And kind of like didn't pay attention to any of the things I was asking or saying about it. And I was quoting it from the Bible. And I feel like that kind of opened my eyes to this idea of what we're worshiping isn't even focused on what I thought was the most important thing, the text, because I grew up sola scriptura, like I said, like inerrancy, everything had to come straight from the Bible because I was Protestant. So, or more specifically, Southern Baptist. So when I pointed out things specifically in the text and that was shut down, I was like, this doesn't seem to be based on the text. This seems to just be a dogmatic belief. And that kind of made me start to respect those dogmatic ideas. I started to respect those less because I was reading the text, and a lot of our dogmas in the church didn't even really agree with the text. So deconstructing that idea of hell and just starting to worry less about my community's opinion of it, I think those two things are like the big turning points of what led me to question my own beliefs more. Because I could see my own dogmatism in that, like reflected in the people I would try to talk to about it.
If you had been given some evidence, whatever evidence it is, that compels you to believe in a Christian God, for instance, would you worship it just by nature of it existing, or would you need something more?
Yeah, I think that I would believe it existed, but I don't think that's the same as worship. I used to worship, obviously, or I guess maybe not obviously. When I was a Southern Baptist, I did worship, but I've learned a lot about the Bible just from reading it myself now, that if I had evidence that the Christian God was true, I would believe that he existed. But by the Christian God, I feel like even that is like such a vague idea. If by the Christian idea of God, we meant a God that is all loving and all powerful and all of those things, if I thought the God was worthy of being worshipped, then yes. But there are a lot of things in the Bible that I don't think are consistent with that. So if the idea of God is something we're talking about coming directly from the Bible. There are things that in the text that God has done that I don't think are worthy of worship. So, and I don't think that there is one singular idea presented about that God in the Bible. So it would really just depend on the specific attributes of that God. But no, like if most of the stories in the Bible were true, no, I don't think I would worship it. But I would be compelled to believe that it existed.
What does it mean to be worthy of worship?
I guess there is a little more entailed in worship, but like if I see that someone is a good person or a, you know, they do commendable things and are loving, I would just say I value that. I find respect in that. I would want a relationship with a person that has those attributes. But I can't really think of a way to describe that other than just a higher level of respect. I wouldn't see it as like, I couldn't see someone needing to be, praised if it was something that was all good. And, but yeah, I would respect, whatever that God was, if it was something that was all loving.
Do you ever regret not continuing to keep your faith?
There are personal relationships that it has strained and things like that, but I don't regret it. The only reason I kept looking into this stuff is because I held truth to be an important, value. And so that's actually because I believed the Bible was true. The reason I was looking into it was to prove the Bible true. I was looking for more evidence for that and, came to the opposite conclusion. But whatever conclusion I came to, I would think that it being the truth was more important to me than which one was like more beneficial socially or anything like that. So no, I don't really regret it.
Mouthy has a question in the chat. Does your wife still believe?
I feel like she's deconstructed a lot of the ideas as well, because we both went to school for religious studies, so we're both aware of some of the things I talked about earlier, and we've talked about it. But I don't think she would consider herself an atheist. She may consider herself more agnostic, but I also don't think she holds to the ideas of young Earth creation or inerrancy or anything like that anymore. So maybe to different extents. We both kind of deconstructed, but definitely to different extents.
Do you find yourself more apt to question things now that you're no longer a believer, not just matters of faith, but other things in your life?
I think so. Because I thought before yeah, like there was this dogma I was holding to before, and there were a lot of things that changed around the same time. So because I was questioning a lot of my beliefs, I feel like it's led me to question relationships, question, and I don't mean with my wife. That's not that's not what I mean. But question things about relationships, question things about my political stances I held, question things about my religious beliefs as a whole, my like worldview as far as what truth is, what ethics are, different things like that. Yeah, I feel like I've questioned a lot of other things that were maybe not directly attached to my religious views, but when I realized I could be wrong about things like that, it did make me wonder what all I was wrong about, so I do feel like that I had held to before.
Now that you've gone that path, have you found different answers, and are any of them surprising to you?
I feel like because I went out seeking different answers, not many were surprising. I was totally convinced I could be wrong about anything at this point. So, some might have been more interesting, but no, not really as like surprising. The Christianity one was the most surprising to me because that's what I had focused most of my life on, being in ministry and stuff. So that was definitely the most surprising one. The rest just kind of were a lot easier after that. That was definitely the hardest one to, the most surprising one and the hardest one to deconstruct.
Would you say, if you were to put your experiences as a Christian versus your experiences after deconstructing on a scale, which one was the easiest and why?
I do think that being a Christian was easier socially because I don't live my life very differently. And I think that maybe part of why I deconstructed is because, and by live my life very differently, I mean, like, I don't think I was ever very judgmental and stuff. And I think part of that is, I've now it's been so much more obvious that Christianity leads a lot of people to things like that, that were never easy for me to justify when I believed those things. But socially, everyone I was surrounded by my entire life was Christian. So, like I said, it's strained a couple of relationships when people realize I don't believe or that I'm atheist now. So it definitely would have been easier socially to continue believing, because then I wouldn't have the questions from my family and different stuff like that. But it's made that a lot easier to deal with. But no, going out, continuing in my stuff I came to believe after, it would have been easier socially to just continue agreeing with everybody in my family.
Did you spend some time kind of keeping your feelings a secret?